It is that time of year. Once again, it is Wrestlemania time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of the Let's Talk Thursdays podcast. Today, we preview Wrestlemania. We preview NXT Takeover. We chat a little bit about the Hall of Fame. It's Wrestlemania week. We talk about all of it here today on the show. We answer some of your questions later on the show as well. We'll talk a little bit about SmackDown and Raw as we progress and we kind of chat about the different matches in today's episode. So let's get straight into it. It's got a lot to talk about, a lot to cover. WrestleMania is this Sunday. I'm hoping to watch it live. I think I should be available to watch it. I think it starts at 7 a.m. in the morning for me. Now, I will say this. I will be doing a chat on my Discord. So, on my Discord chat, on my website, BrendenPlayz.com/forums, you can find the link there. I'll be there chatting about the show live, so you can come along to the chat and you can talk about of course, WrestleMania pay-per-view, NXT Takeover as well, live on my Discord. So you can join up. It's free to sign up, of course, and you can get on there and chat away with plenty of other wrestling fans as well. So if you're looking to kind of chat, to me personally, when I watch something, like I like going on Reddit, for example, when I'm watching the cricket or even rugby league. Or sports I like to watch because I like to, or I'll look on Twitter because I like to see what people are thinking, what their opinions are, what they're kind of commenting about as I'm watching, especially like cricket, for example, because it's a long sport, so there's a lot to kind of think about and talk about. So I like reading other people's comments. So when I'm watching wrestling, I love getting on the Discord chat and chatting live with other wrestling fans, especially people that I'm affiliated with and know well on my Discord. And I love chatting with new wrestling fans as well and kind of picking their brains a little bit and wondering what they're thinking about. So yeah, absolutely jump along and chat away about the matches live. So I'll be doing that. Hopefully for NXT Takeover. I'll definitely 100% be there for WrestleMania. I think I will try to watch NXT live. But WrestleMania 7 a.m. is when the pre-show will start for me. But I'll try to be there for the entire pre-show and the main show, because I don't really want to miss any matches. I like watching the entire WrestleMania card. So I'll be up nice and early there and be there on my Discord chat. So the link in the description. Or at least go on my website. Go on the forum. It's BrendenPlayz.com/forums and you'll find it there. I'll also be giving away a couple of Supercard codes. So I got some WWE Supercard codes, the WrestleMania edition codes. So really, really good cards. So if you like WWE Supercard, I'm gonna be giving away some codes to people who come along to my the Discord chat for WrestleMania. So what I might do is, when you come along to the chat, just kind of enter yourself in, and then at the end of the night, I'll compile all the list of names of people that were in on the chat, and I'll just kind of pick a winner from there. So I think that'll be a simple way to do it. So that way you don't have to all be there at one certain time. Just anyone who drops in, anyone who comes along and chats away, I'll enter them in and they can join up and have a chance to win some WrestleMania codes for WWE Supercard. I also will be doing a Supercard video on the WrestleMania codes, probably today. So I'll show you some of the cards that I get and some of the cards that you may get from the giveaway on the Discord chat. Alright, so let's get into it. So WrestleMania, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to predict. I'm just going to talk about the matches as we go, chat about some things that's happened on Raw and SmackDown whilst I'm talking about certain matches, and after that we'll chat about NXT Takeover and maybe the Hall of Fame and things like that as well. So, let's start off with the WrestleMania pre-show. We know the 3 confirmed matches on the pre-show. We've got 2 Battle Royals and the Cruiserweight Championship match. Now, if you ask me, 2 Battle Royals in the pre-show is a terrible idea. But there is an issue with having a Battle Royal on the main show. The Battle Royal, it's basically used to get everyone on the card that isn't important enough to have a featured match. Everyone who's just kind of left out, everyone who's like a mid-card guy or a low-end guy, they kind of get stuffed into this Battle Royal. So it's not a big deal at all. And same for the women. Anyone who's important, has a title match. But I will say the women do have a few extra little things in there. Absolution, for example. Sasha and Bayley, they've done a little bit there. So they've got a little bit more with their Battle Royal. Whereas the Andre the Giant Battle Royal has nothing. Nothing. It's just simply low-end guys, everyone who couldn't make the card, stuffed into it. So I can see why they put that on the Battle Royal, on the pre-show rather. I thought they would put the women's battle royal on the main show because I just felt having 2 battle royals in the space of most likely an hour and a half, because they'll probably open up with a half an hour pre-game chat, then do the first battle royal. I'm sure they'll have the cruiserweight title match in between the 2 battle royals, and then the last battle royal before the opening match of WrestleMania. That's how I kind of think that's going to go, and obviously pre-game stuff in kind of, analysis and video packages, probably during the matches and in between the matches. So, they are having a 1 hour USA special. So, what match would go on the 1 hour show? Will they put the Cruiserweight match on there and then the Women's Battle Royal? Maybe. I think will they try and make the Women's Battle Royal a bit more special by having NXT girls, maybe even some legends show up? Yeah, maybe. So I think maybe the Andre the Giant Battle Royal will be on the first hour. They might squeeze on the Women's Battle Royal and the Cruiserweights on the second hour. Now, will they have enough time? I guess they'll have to cut back on their video packages and things like that. But if I'm watching on USA, I don't really want to see a lot of that stuff. I want to see more in-ring competition. So that's maybe their thinking as well. We'll have to wait and see. I can't remember what they did in previous years with it. But, yeah. I think we found out that Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler will be a part of the Andre the Giant Battle Royal commentary team, so they'll do the commentary for that. I think Beth Phoenix is doing the commentary for the Women's Battle Royal, and I'm not sure who else is going to be involved there. But, yeah, so that's cool. That's really good that they're giving Jerry Lawler and JR something to do for WrestleMania, even if it is the Battle Royal, which is a nothing match. But it's cool that they get some kind of a role. It's better than nothing at the end of the day. But yeah, so let's start off with the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, which I think is the match that'll open up with. Alright, so the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, there's been a lot of talk about a 2-time winner. That's kind of been a lot of their, I guess not marketing, but more so like the things they've been chatting about in their commentary and kind of putting over that idea quite heavily. So, Baron Corbin, Mojo Rawley, probably the only 2 guys that's going to be in it that potentially could be a 2-time winner. If they had to pick one out of the 2, I think it's going to be Baron Corbin. I don't think it's going to be either. Who is going to win this battle? Well, the question is who's going to be in it. There's a lot of talk that Big Cass, who apparently will be coming back as Colin Cassidy, they're going to remove the Big Cass name and return him as Colin Cassidy, which I don't mind. I guess I like the Big Cass though, but I guess the reason why they're doing it is because they want to get rid of any association with Enzo, which is a whole other issue. That's another podcast type of issue, I think. But so if that's the case, whatever, that's fine. So I think there's a good chance that he might win it. If he's back, if he's healthy, which I think he is, there's a good chance he will win it. Now, the other potential winner would be Samoa Joe. Now, that is of course if Samoa Joe is not involved in some kind of way. It kind of sucks for Samoa Joe because last year he missed out on WrestleMania. This year he could potentially miss out on WrestleMania as well. As far as we know, Samoa Joe is cleared. He's back. He has been booked to do a lot of live events in a couple weeks' time after WrestleMania. So he's cleared. He's ready to go. So he could be in this Battle Royal 100%. And if he's in it, he'll win it 100%. Because if they have Samoa Joe win, it puts over the Battle Royal pretty well. It's a strong winner. And it's a guy that they can use him as the winner and then move him up into the main event, compete for the Universal Championship, which apparently is the rumor Reigns versus Joe is expected after WrestleMania, at least for the house show circuit. So, giving Joe the Battle Royal win, I think will just put over the Battle Royal a little bit more and treat it a bit stronger. And it probably won't help Joe too much, but it will help the match itself. It'll put over the match rather than put over the wrestler, which is probably backwards thinking. They could put over Big Cass through it, and it might help Big Cass a little bit. But let's be honest, Mojo Rawley did nothing with it. Baron Corbin did a little bit with it. It helped him a little bit. It gave him a bit of a boost when he started. A few more eyes on him, I suppose, and a little bit of credibility. But Mojo had zero. So last year was just a celebrity spot, really. They used it to get Gronk over, more so than Mojo. This year, I think there will be more of a legitimate winner. I think it's, like I said, Joe or Cass. It just depends on who's going to be in it. If Joe's in it, he wins it. If Big Cass is in it with Joe, I still don't think Big Cass will win. If Big Cass is in it but Joe isn't in it, I think Big Cass will win it. I would like to see a surprise winner because the confirmed talent in it right now is pretty weak. Very, very weak. Out of the names that are confirmed, I guess Dolph Ziggler would be the one I'd pick, but I don't know. So I'm going to go with Joe. If Joe's not in it, I'm going to go with Cass. Cruiserweight title match, Cedric versus Mustafa Ali for the vacant Cruiserweight title. It's the tournament final of the Cruiserweight Championship Tournament that's been going on 205 Live for quite some time. I will admit I haven't watched a single minute of the Cruiserweight tournament. None. Haven't watched any. Reason being is because I have given up on the 205 Live product. I've never really had much interest in the Cruiserweights. And I've never had any interest in the Cruiserweights. It doesn't matter if it's this crop of Cruiserweights. It's never really interested me. The high-flying style is not my type of style that I particularly want to go my way and watch. Cruiserweights don't appeal to me as a fan. I like seeing good storylines, large-in-life characters. That's kind of the wrestling that I like, known, and enjoy. Now, I've been hearing the match call in 205 Live has really improved, so I'm looking forward to seeing how this one goes. I'm looking forward to seeing how this match is. Being on the pre-show is a better thing than being on the main show for these guys because they'd get maybe 10 minutes on the main show at best. They could hit 15 minutes on the pre-show. You look at Aries and Neville. They had a pretty strong pre-show match last year, and it was cut from the DVD and things like that, unfortunately. But they had a pretty strong match for the pre-show last year, which is a good opportunity for these cruiserweights to try and replicate the same. Is it a bad thing that the Cruiserweight title is stuck in the pre-show year after year after year? No, I think it's expected. I think there really is no choice but to do that because the pre-show, it has to have some kind of title, and the Cruiserweight title arguably is the lowest title in the company, and that's okay. Being on the pre-show for WrestleMania isn't that bad. The crowd. It depends when you're at. If you're on the last pre-show match, a lot of the crowd are in. A lot of the crowd are in. They're ready to go. So you're getting the crowd when they are hungry. They're ready. So it's not a bad thing. If you're the first match of the pre-show when half the arena is filled, yeah, not so great. Not so great. But so the Cruiserweight match, it could potentially open the show, but I really believe that back-to-back Battle Royals would be a bad idea. I would like to split that up. In fact, I think two Battle Royals in the pre-show is a bad idea, but so I'm thinking the Cruiserweights will follow one of the Battle Royals, so it'll be stuck in between in the middle. So there's a chance the crowd will be decent. There's a chance that this match will be good. Two good performances, Cedric and Mustafa Ali. I've been hearing good reports about their efforts in the tournament. I liked some of the packages, that the vignettes that they've done, the interview styles they've done, the two face-to-face having an interview. I like that. So they've done a few really good things here, and I think they've done the best they can for this matchup. As a winner, I'm going to say Cedric Alexander will win because of the fact that he's just got a little bit more of a name compared to Mustafa. But I'm actually quite surprised Mustafa Ali made the final. I thought Cedric was probably one of the locks. But Mustafa's a bit of a surprise. I thought they might have went with Roderick Strong or something like that, but obviously got other plans for Strong in NXT. So fair enough. I'm actually surprised Hideo Itami was gone so early. I thought they were going to make him one of the main center guys in this tournament, that he was gone straight away. So his career is not looking great whatsoever. But yeah, so I'm going to go Cedric Alexander to win. Women's Battle Royal. All right, so I think we're going to see some NXT girls in it. I think we're going to see perhaps a legend or two show up. Now, if you had a legend that showed up at, for example, the Royal Rumble, and they appear again in this Battle Royal, is it going to be as cool? Is it great? No, probably not. So the challenge for them will be trying to find someone else who didn't appear in the Royal Rumble match to show up in this one. Who are they going to get? I don't know. I could see the Bellas in this Battle Royal again. I think that could happen. I could see Ember Moon being in it, Kairi Sane, Peyton Royce, Billie Kay, Nikki Cross, and all the other girls on the main roster. So, yeah, I don't know. I think they kind of had all their returns at the Royal Rumble, and they probably didn't have a plan for this Women's Battle Royal. Before the Royal Rumble, they probably only just played it the last few weeks, and they probably thought, well, hey, the men have got a Battle Royal, why don't the women? And they decided, all right, let's just do one. And of course, we had the old controversy of Mueller and everything like that. But, yeah, so it'll be a challenge for them to make it exciting and interesting. And I guess they might have to rely on having people return and people appear from NXT and everything like that to make it exciting, because it's not looking that great at the moment as it stands. But for a winner, I'd like to see Becky Lynch win it. But I can see probably Sasha eliminating Bayley or vice versa, one of those two at the end. I think probably they'll both be at the end, and they'll have that little confrontation at the end just to keep that storyline going. It's the only interesting thing that's going on in the Battle Royal, so they may as well make the most out of it. Have Sasha Banks eliminate Bayley, or Bayley eliminate Sasha Banks. Either way, just to drive that storyline a little bit further, and most likely set up for a match at the next pay-per-view, which I have no idea what it is. Maybe Backlash, Payback, whatever it is. Whatever's next after WrestleMania, and so go with that. So I'm going to say, I'll say Sasha Banks. But I'd like to see Becky Lynch win it, to be honest. Alright, so that's the pre-show all done. So let's get into the main card, some of the more interesting matches, I suppose. Alright, so we'll start off with, well, I've got the match list in front of me. It's a little bit jumbled, but we'll start off with Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. What do they call him? Cammy? Is that what that is? So it's a tag team match. If Owens and Zayn win, they will be rehired to SmackDown. Keyword being SmackDown. Alright, so look, Daniel Bryan is having his first match in a few years. Shane McMahon miraculously has overcome illness and injury to be a part of this match. What kind of role will he have? Is he going to be limited? You'd have to think so. There's no way that this guy's going to be 100%. So you'd have to think Daniel Bryan's going to have to do a majority of this matchup, which is going to be difficult for him considering it's his first one in quite some time. But I've seen some training videos. He looks to be in pretty good shape. He looks to be ready to go. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be interesting just for the crowd reaction alone. Seeing Daniel Bryan back in the ring is going to be surreal. It's going to be a really good feel-good moment. And I think the crowd are going to eat it up. If it were me, I guess you'd never want to have Daniel Bryan come back and lose. But, geez, it would be a good heel moment if Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn just pinned Daniel Bryan. It would really put these guys over as heels. I don't want to see Zayn and Owens back on Raw. I feel like they get a better opportunity on SmackDown. I don't know. I mean, I just feel like SmackDown at the moment is just missing one or two more interesting characters. You know, for example, if Seth Rollins was there or a Finn Balor, you know, I think that would really help the show. I think it's just missing a strong personality. Now that Cena isn't really there anymore, it just has a bit of a gap there. So if they were able to fill that, I definitely think Owens and Zayn would be much better off because of it. They'd be dealing with Shane McMahon the entire time. They're just lacking a strong full-time babyface to come up against. It could be Daniel Bryan going forward. Yeah, they could do a little bit more with that. And now that Bryan's there, that might be the role that he'll play. But we still don't know how they're going to use him. So I'm happy with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens on SmackDown still. So if it were me, I'd probably have them win. I'd have them win, either beat Shane or Daniel Bryan. And, you know, maybe have them pin Shane and, you know, Daniel Bryan was taken out. Maybe they try and act like they've, you know, hurt him again or put him out of commission, you know, something like that, and, you know, go in that direction. I don't think it doesn't hurt Daniel Bryan. It might disappoint the crowd, but if anything, it'll just put these guys over as heels, and that's what it should be. These guys are the full-time young talent, and they probably should win. You know, Daniel Bryan, he's still in his prime, essentially, but I don't think he'll be back full-time in the ring, at least not for a few more months. I think they're just going to slowly introduce him. So maybe do the match now, maybe the next pay-per-view he'll do another match, something along those lines. So for the short term, you probably want these guys going over, and even for the long term, it will probably help benefit them if they do win. So that's probably how I would do it. I'd have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn win. They return to SmackDown, and we maybe continue on this feud, or we go in a different direction with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and maybe get them back in the title hunt. I don't know, but that might be the plan there. You could have Daniel Bryan win and Shane McMahon win, and then have Kevin and Sami, they have to go back to Raw, which I just feel like with the current landscape of Raw, Owens and Zayn would get lost, and they would be nowhere near the top of the card. Obviously, a draft could happen, and people get moved around, things get changed, and they could find a spot towards the top. Yes, that's entirely possible, but I think looking at the current card and the current rosters, I just think if there really isn't a major change from Raw, which I don't think there really will be. I think one or two names will go over, but not too many. I don't see Owens and Zayn doing very well on Raw. So I would be keeping them on SmackDown. I'd have them beat Bryan and McMahon. Next up, we'll go to, well, I'll just do the match order in front of me. Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. It's a mixed tag team match. I thought this was a chance to main event, but it seems to be pretty clear now that they've said, okay, Lesnar and Reigns is more of the main event. They've positioned it in the last few weeks to close out the show and be a little bit more important. And whereas Triple H, Stephanie, Ronda, and Kurt have taken a little bit of a back seat to this rivalry. So it looks to me that they'll stick this towards the middle of the card, and it'll be a strong match in the middle somewhere. So Kurt Angle and Ronda versus Triple H and Stephanie. This will be very interesting for a number of reasons. One, how the hell's Kurt Angle going to go? How is he going to go? What kind of condition is he in? Can he wrestle? Has he got anything left in the tank? That's the interesting thing. Injuries, are they killing him? Is he going to be okay? Can he compete at a high level anymore, or is it time to call it a day, unfortunately? That'll be the interesting thing. Secondly, obviously, Ronda Rousey. How will she perform? Is she going to be as green as grass, or will she be okay? Will she do better than we expect? Her promos leading into WrestleMania have not been strong. In fact, they've been very, very poor. The little moves that she's done hasn't all been smooth, but it's been okay. She went through the table this week on Raw, and her selling was bizarre. She just had a mean girl look on her face instead of acting like she was in pain. So that was odd, but I guess in a way it was more like, okay, I'm Ronda Rousey, I just went through a table, this shouldn't really hurt me that much type of feel to it. Like, it's like, to me, when I saw her go through the table, I'm like, okay, you got put through a table, but I've seen you, being choked, and you've come away from it. So, I think you'll be okay. So that was kind of like a little iffy moment, but she didn't really sell very well. So I don't think she'll be doing any selling much at all. I think she might get slapped and maybe, pushed around a bit. That's about it. There's not going to be a lot of selling for her to do anyway. So how the hell is she going to go? And the other thing is, who's going to win? I mean, you'd have to think Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle are going to win. I've heard people say they might do a double tap-out moment where Angle has Triple H in the ankle lock and Ronda has Steph in the armbar, and they do the double tap-out type of thing. Possibly. I kind of look at this and think about last year's mixed tag match with Cena and Nikki versus Maurice and The Miz. It wasn't that long. It was just more of a way to get the engagement thing over. Different scenario here, but I think it's just more of a way to get Ronda over. It might only be 10 minutes. It might not be as long as we're thinking. It might only be a 10-minute match. Kurt Angle does a lot of it. Kurt and Triple H, they fight for 6-7 minutes, reminiscent like the old days, like a good old-fashioned brawl once again. And then Ronda gets the tag, and then they do the Stephanie thing, and that might be the finish. So I don't think it's going to be as long as we're probably thinking. I don't think it's going to be as memorable as we're thinking. I think it's just going to be what it is to try and get Ronda her first big victory in. And also a little something for Kurt Angle as well. Maybe a little bit more to come between Kurt, Stephanie, Triple H going forward. Maybe Ronda goes in a different direction, but we'll have to see. So I'm going to say Kurt and Ronda do win in more of a 10-12 minute match. The Usos, Jimmy and Jay versus The New Day, Big E, Kofi Kingston, potentially Xavier, which we don't know the combination, versus the Bludgeon Brothers, Harper and Rowan. Triple threat tag match for the SmackDown tag titles. This is a strong match. This will be a good one. If we have to see the Usos and New Day again, I'm glad we've got the Bludgeon Brothers in there just to break it up a bit. And I think this will be a very strong match for WrestleMania. I think it's probably the best match they could do in the tag division right now. Harper and Rowan are a good team. They've just been very, very underutilized over the last, number of years. Not just last year. It's probably been 2 or 3 years where they've been heavily underutilized. Let's not forget, Harper and Rowan have had a classic with the Usos in the past, so there's some chemistry there. The New Day work well with every team pretty much. They do very, very well. The Usos and New Day have had some great matches, so I can only see this one being good. I really do. For me, I would have the Bludgeon Brothers win, because we've seen the New Day as champions many times. The Usos have been champion for long enough. Let's give the Bludgeon Brothers the belts, and let's have these other babyface teams try and take it from them. I could see, if there is going to be a shake-up, a couple different teams being brought over and spicing it up a little bit. But definitely think this is a very strong match, and definitely believe the Bludgeon Brothers should win it, just to put over this team and finally establish themselves as championship contenders, because for the entire time they've been a tag team, I can't remember many times they've had opportunities for the tag belts. When they were the White family and they were actually getting pushed, they really were kept far away from championship belts. I think they might have had a couple of opportunities, but not very much. And they didn't win, so this is the time to finally put the belts on them. So I'm going to say the Bludgeon Brothers will win. Another tag match, Cesaro and Sheamus. There's 4 tag matches on this card. That's interesting. A lot of people kind of don't like having so many tag matches. I'm not against it, and I think these are some strong tag matches, so I'm okay with it. Cesaro and Sheamus versus Braun Strowman versus a partner we do not know. The Raw Tag Team titles on the line. Braun Strowman's going to win. Whoever his partner is, it doesn't matter. Braun Strowman will win. Just going to put over Braun. Cesaro and Sheamus have taken a back seat for a little bit. I think it hasn't run its course, the tag team run. I just think them chasing the belts for a little bit might help them just to spice things up and go in a different direction. Who is Braun Strowman's partner going to be? That's the big question. And I don't know. We've heard Rey Mysterio. I don't think it's going to be Elias. I think Elias is doing some type of concert. I think he's already confirmed that. And is The Rock going to show up? I don't know. We might talk about that later. So I don't think it's going to be Elias. So it really only leaves Rey Mysterio, which is heavily rumored. Samoa. Keep it in mind, I haven't been reading the spoilers about this. I've kind of kept away from it because I don't really want to be spoiled. I want to actually watch WrestleMania and have a genuine surprise for once. So I've kept away. So I could be saying something that has already been ruled out. So if I do, apologize. Braun Strowman, Samoa Joe, Big Cass, Rey Mysterio. For me, I think the best combination would be Strowman and Rey. I think the big guy, little guy would be interesting. It has to be a babyface. Braun Strowman is a babyface. You also have to keep that in mind. It's got to be a babyface. If it's Strowman and Joe, yeah, they're a killer team, but it just doesn't mesh well. So Braun Strowman needs a guy who's going to get cheered alongside of him. And if it is Rey Mysterio, that'd be awesome. I just don't know if he's healthy. I'm probably sure that was their initial plan if it was Rey before he got injured, or they had Rey penciled in to do something in WrestleMania. So Rey and Strowman would be great. Rey has a torn bicep, so he's trying to work through it. Can he do it? Can he work a WrestleMania match? Can he just come in, hit the 619 and get the 1-2-3 to get the pin for the team? Is that all he needs to do? Maybe. Can he do that? Maybe. He's got to grab onto the ropes with a busted up bicep. And also, if he's going to win the tag belts, they kind of need him to be out there a little bit, so and actually be able to compete. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I mean, who else can they really use? There's not many names. I mean, do they bring back a legend from the past other than Rey? Who would you bring in? I don't know. I've been kind of fearing that it could be the Big Show. I've been starting to think about that, but I'm just thinking surely not. Surely they won't go with the Big Show and just disappoint all of us. Is it Mark Henry? Hall of Famer Mark Henry? Does he get a spot here and has one last match at WrestleMania? That could be possible. And look, I've always liked Mark Henry. I think he's had last few years of his career has been nothing, but that 2010 to 2013 period was really strong for Mark Henry. So he's had some great moments. Just obviously injuries kind of got the better of him throughout his entire career, really, not just the later and just his entire career. Couldn't really stay healthy at all. So that is possible. Anyone else? Jeff Jarrett, I really doubt they'll use him. I don't know. I've got nothing. That's it. It's either going to be really left field or it's just going to be Big Show or whatever. Nothing great or something really great or something just like, oh, okay, whatever. So we'll have to see. I'll have to wait and see. Charlotte versus Asuka for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Some people have been saying they think Charlotte's a chance. I don't think so. I think Asuka's going to win. I think if you've built Asuka up for this long, the streak has to end while she's champion. For her to lose now would just kind of defeat the point. Because if she has had such a huge rise and she doesn't win the belt, it's just like, okay, what the hell was the point of that streak? Yes, she was NXT champion, but NXT, it's a different ballgame. Now she's on the main roster. She's had this undefeated streak. She's been going through everyone. She wins the Rumble. They've been putting her over like crazy. And for her just to lose at the final hurdle at WrestleMania would make no sense to me. So I'd have Asuka win, and she might, hold this SmackDown Women's title for majority of the year. Maybe she comes ahead and collides with Ronda Rousey at some point, or maybe not. Maybe they build up someone else to take the belt from her. Who, I don't know. But it's possible they can build up another person and have it be a legitimate threat and contender for the belt. But I definitely think Asuka's going to win. So Asuka to beat Charlotte, hands down. Alexa versus Nia Jax for the Raw Women's title. Again, if Nia Jax doesn't win here, I don't know. Nia should win. Alexa's had the belt, I think, for 3 months too long. I think Alexa should have lost the belt around Royal Rumble time when she was just... It's ever since December, when they brought in Absolution, Alexa has done literally nothing. She has been... she spent 2 months not even on the show until the Royal Rumble was done, and then she's had this... running away from Asuka type thing, and now bullying and making fun of Nia Jax. So she hasn't done a hell of a lot. So I feel like it's time for her to drop the belt. If she holds this belt any longer, it's just going to drag this credibility down a little bit, because she's just, in my opinion, I'm losing interest. And I've been a fan of Alexa Bliss. She's been one of the best performing women for the last year and a bit. She's been a deserving champion. She's done very well as champion. I just feel like it's time now. It's a perfect time for her to drop the belt and let Nia Jax run with it. Let Nia Jax have a chance to be something decent in this division, because she's always there and about, but she's always losing at the final hurdle. So give her the belt. Let's see how she goes. Triple threat match. It's actually a fatal four-way. My bad. Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, Jinder Mahal, and now, of course, Rusev. I just looked at the first three and went, yep, triple threat. I forgot about Rusev, which is kind of bad of me, because I think Rusev's going to win it. I think Rusev will win and become US champion. In my opinion, that's what should happen. A lot of talk about Rusev having strong merchandise sales. He gets a strong crowd reaction. You'd have to be stupid not to cash in on it. It's pretty clear. The WWE does not like Rusev and Lana. They just don't like them. For whatever reason, they are not fans of them. They don't push them. They don't feature them. Rusev is getting these great reactions, and they just kind of put him on the show because they have to. It's a bit like Daniel Bryan back a few years ago when the Yes movement was coming along. They didn't really want to go with it, but they had no choice. I don't think it's to that extent, but geez, you'd like to see them do something with Rusev. Randy won the belt to become a Grand Slam champ. Bobby Roode was not doing well as champion. They had to get up the belt off of him at some point. Jinder, in my opinion, was a failed experiment for the WWE Championship. Yes, they succeeded in terms of dragging a job guy up to a upper mid guy, They've succeeded there, absolutely. They've created a new, not a star, but a new threat to the upper mid-carder. Like, they've created an upper mid-carder from a low-end guy, which is a success in itself, but I think they were trying to create a, overseas Indian star, like a main event guy. He just couldn't hang. He just can't do it in ring. He just doesn't have the ability. He doesn't have the ability on the mic. He's got nothing. He has got no ability to be in that spot. So, if it's not going to be Rusev, it's going to be Jinder, and that sucks because I don't think Jinder deserves another run with another title. I think Rusev, after all the shit that he has taken, and he's now finally created something that's getting over organically without them even pushing it, he's getting over. I would genuinely like to see Rusev win and give him a chance to be a success as the US champion again, as a babyface, with Aiden English, and see how this act goes. If it's not going to be this, it's got to be the tag titles. They've got to do something with Rusev. Something. So, I'll pick Rusev. Intercontinental Championship, this is a triple threat match, and this is The Miz versus Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. This will be a good one. This could be the match that might steal the show. I really believe so. Miz has been very impressive for a long period of time now. He's a great champion. I think it's time for him to drop the belt. I think he will drop the belt because, look, I'm seeing on his Twitter, he's just posting baby pictures everywhere. He just wants to be at home with that kid. He just wants to be there, in my opinion. So, if I'm The Miz, he would be gladly drop this belt, go spend 2, 3, 4 weeks with his kid and Maurice, do that. And he might, this is how I could see it, he might lose it at WrestleMania. In my opinion, I think Finn Balor will win it. That's what I would do. I'd give Finn Balor the big win. Because Rollins has been Universal Champion, Finn Balor has not been nothing. Well, Finn Balor was champion for a day. Finn Balor needs a title. He needs something just to get him over and get him some credibility. He needs this. Rollins doesn't need it as much. So I'd have The Miz drop it to Finn Balor in this triple threat match, do a rematch on Raw, Balor beats him again, Miz is gone, and let him go away for a month or so. Maybe even more, I don't know. A month or two, just give him some time to have some family time. And also, Miz has been centered and featured heavily on Raw for the last year or so. He's had a few hiatuses here and there, so it wouldn't be the worst thing just to cool him off a little bit and just refreshen him and let people miss him a little bit and come back later on. So that's personally what I would do. Just, a few weeks off TV and just let someone else, shine. And the shake-up could happen again. The Miz could go back to SmackDown, and we might actually finally be able to do The Miz and Daniel Bryan as a legitimate feud, which I would think would be sensational. I think that would truly be amazing. I really believe that would be great. So I think if I was WWE, that's the type of direction I'd be trying to get The Miz going towards. The semi-main event, the SmackDown main event, AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the WWE Championship. I was critical last week because I didn't appreciate the heat coming into this matchup. They just hadn't done much in terms of a storyline and creating interest in a match. Don't get me wrong, this match will be good. I don't know if it's going to be the classic we're hoping for, but Styles and Nakamura will be a great match. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think we're going to like it a lot. I think it'll be given 25 minutes, the longest match on the card. I think it's going to be given the chance to really shine. I just don't, I look at this match and I go, oh, wow, these guys don't like each other. Yes, they do. Okay, who's the heel? There is no heel. Or what are we doing here? It's just a simple two fan favorites who, the wrestlers themselves like each other, and they're just fighting for the championship. Who's the better guy type of storyline, and that's fine, but I just, personally, I'd like to see a little bit more done with it. And they tried a little bit, where they teased hitting each other. That's okay, but just not a lot there that's kind of driven that interest for me. And I'm a guy who likes a storyline behind the matches. I like a reason, a purpose. Yes, the title is majority of a purpose, but I just like a little bit more at times. We haven't quite got that with this match. But in saying that, I think it'll be a very good match. I think you'd be mad not to have Nakamura win and put him over, and that way you have now another top babyface for
SmackDown. Styles, I think, will be going to Raw after WrestleMania. I really do think so. I think it's time for him to make the jump over and test him out there, and create, have those unique matchups over there. So I really believe that's going to happen. Nakamura, his promos are the issue. I wish this was the age of the days of having managers again, because Nakamura needs one. It's going to be difficult for him to go on TV shows, Good Morning America and things like that, and answer all the questions, because his English just isn't great. He's trying his best to speak. He just can't do it, and that's not his fault. It's not his fault. It's just he's from a different country, and he's trying his best, but it's just not working. So that might be the only thing that could convince WWE to not go with that. But they could have Roman Reigns be the guy to do all that, and Nakamura is just the straight-up wrestler dude, whatever. They've got 2 titles, you might as well utilize it. Have Reigns go on all the talk shows, and let Nakamura just, do his thing. Do his thing in the ring. Because I think the fans want to see Nakamura as champion. And I think he's had a huge rise to the top. Let's not forget, he debuted on the main roster a year ago. Came in, and had title matches against Jinder, wasn't doing a lot. Then they gave him the Royal Rumble, and now they're giving him the WrestleMania big match. So it's been a big rise for Nakamura, but I think you got to strike. I think you got to go with him. I think you got to give him the belt, and maybe have these 2 guys for a rematch at some other point, or they do another one in the next pay-per-view, maybe. But I believe I'd be keeping these guys apart and save a rematch for another big occasion, and have Styles go to Raw, so they got no choice but to forget about the rematch. But we still don't know if they're going to do a shake-up. I think they need to do one, but we'll have to see. So I'm going to go Nakamura. And will it be a 5-star match? No, I don't think so. I think, was there one in Japan 5-star? I don't even know. It may have been. But I'm going to say, well, does it really matter what star rating? But I'll give it 4.5. I reckon that's what Meltzer will probably give it. Because let's not forget, Meltzer, if it was in Japan, it might get an extra few points. But it's saying that at WWE matches, they just had that limitation at points. They just can't do everything that they probably would do, because they do restrict them a little bit. Well, quite a bit, actually. So we'll have to see. Main event, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, Universal title. Well, Dana White came out and said that Brock Lesnar is coming back to UFC. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. He is coming back. So is Lesnar dropping the belt, sayonara, see you later type of deal, like it was back in WrestleMania 20, 2004? Or is it a case of, okay, I'm dropping the belt, but I'm going to be around until August, like I think his contract could permit him to be? We'll have to see. So Reigns and Lesnar, how long will this go? I mean, if it's the main event, it's got to be at least 10. I mean, surely. I'm worried. I mean, a lot of people think this is going to be 15, 20 minutes, a really great long match, similar to the one they did at 31, and then obviously Rollins cashed in and did all that. But let's not forget the match before Rollins cashed in was already very good. I was really, really enjoying it. So we're going to see something like that? I don't think so. I don't think Lesnar's going to do anything different. I don't think Lesnar's going to really try. I mean, he doesn't normally try ever. So I'm worried about the crowd reaction. Is it going to be a hostile reaction for Lesnar because he's probably leaving? Is it going to be a hostile reaction for Reigns because people just don't like him for whatever reason? It could be bad. I think it's a risk having this main event, but we'll have to see. I'll say Reigns wins. I hope Reigns wins because I'm sick of Lesnar having the belt. I think that needs to change. So in my opinion, Reigns needs to win. The other things that could happen. Elias. Is he going to have a Rock concert and have, well, not a Rock concert, but a concert and have The Rock appear and, go back and forth with him on the mic and eventually lay him out with the rock bottom? Well, probably. I hope so. I think that'd be great for Elias. If it's not going to be The Rock, it'll be someone else appearing, for sure, and interrupting this thing. I worry they could do Jeff Jarrett and have the guitar versus guitar thing. I don't think that's going to go over very well with the crowd. It could happen, but in my opinion, it shouldn't happen. The other thing, of course, Cena and The Undertaker. What the hell's going on with this? Is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? Apparently it's not going to happen. So Cena's going to come to the ring and what? Sit in the crowd and, maybe try and get one last chance to call out The Undertaker. The way I would do it, Cena, he comes out and says, look, I tried to get The Undertaker to appear, on Raw. Maybe we just didn't have enough people. Maybe we need 70,000 of you to chant for The Undertaker and cheer for The Undertaker. If we try this one more time, maybe it will work. And they try it. You hear the rev or the bike. Maybe The Undertaker comes out the badass. If not, you hear the gong and out comes The Undertaker. And I don't know if they have a match, but they might just have a confrontation, a stare down, and maybe The Undertaker will just choke slam Cena. Maybe they're set up for another match later down the line. Or maybe they just do the match on the spot. Something different, a surprise. Maybe they just do that and have a 10-minute match, 10, 15-minute match. I don't know. I mean, I think it's crazy not to market and build this match before WrestleMania. This is a very non-WWE thing to do. Normally, they will have Undertaker and Cena slapped all over their all over their marketing and just say, this match is happening. But this time, they're not doing that, and I don't know why. We're going to find out at Mania. What's the deal? Is Taker not even going to show up at all? What is going to happen? Will Cena call out Undertaker and get someone else? Will we see, Samoa Joe come out and beat the shit out of Cena? Will we see, Lashley pop up? I don't know. We could see anyone come out and come after Cena. I think that would be cool, but it depends who it is. It's got to be someone, not on the level of The Undertaker, but someone interesting to replace The Undertaker. So, well, we'll have to watch and see. Will he show up as an American Badass? I would like to see it. I would. Will Kid Rock play him in to the ring? Very possible. I mean, a lot of people, they like seeing the Phenom character, but sometimes change is good. And sometimes, in my opinion, it would just be a moment. And like Cena calls out Taker. You got 70,000 chanting for The Undertaker, wanting to see him. Out comes Taker, revs up the bike, comes and hits the ring and lays out Cena. I think it'd be a cool moment. And sometimes WrestleManias just need moments. You don't have to do a match. If Taker can't do a match, this is the next best thing. He hits the ring and just goes after Cena and lays him out. That's all it needs to be. If he can't do the match, then this is okay. This is a good alternative. But that is WrestleMania. It is shaping up to be a strong card. I like the Bryan, Shane versus Owens and Zayn. I like that storyline. I think Daniel Bryan's big return has really improved that. And that's going to be interesting. The mixed tag match I'm looking forward to. Nakamura and Styles will be fun. The triple threat IC title should be fun. And then in between, who's going to be Strowman's partner? That's going to be interesting. Cena and Taker, Elias. And in the main event, Reigns and Lesnar, it might be okay. It might surprise us. So I think there could be a few surprises there throughout this entire show. And I'm hoping that... I'm hoping they make some smart decisions. It seems like we're going to have... Well, it seems like we're going to have every title change hands on this card. I don't see any titles being retained. Out of my predictions, I said new champions on every single title. The only one that could happen could be Alexa Bliss. I think that might be the only chance. I mean, Styles could, but I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't advise it. So I think every title may change hands, which should happen for WrestleMania. Not all the time, but that's not an odd thing to happen for WrestleMania. Like when I booked my, I don't know, it's different, but I think I booked my TEW 2005 WrestleMania. I think I had every title change hands. So it's just it's one of those things that happens at WrestleMania because you build up a new character, you build up a new person to challenge and most likely win the title. It's just what you do. So, I'm sure we'll be swerved. I'm sure they'll do a Zack Ryder winning the IC title type of shit where, Bobby Roode will win the US title or Orton will keep the US title for some reason or, The Miz will hang on to the title. Or maybe even Lesnar retains the Universal. I'm sure there will be something in this show that can actually scratch your head. Maybe it will be Sheamus and Cesaro winning. And if that's the case, that's fine. And Braun could do other things, but... Depending on Braun's partner, of course. So if it's a good partner, then go for it. Go for it. Give the belts to Braun. So we'll see. We will see. It's a chance the New Day will win. But I'm thinking the Bludgeon Brothers. But anyways, let's move along. NXT Takeover is also happening this weekend. I haven't been following the NXT card, the NXT product, I should say, that closely. I keep a slight little eye on it. So I'll run through this card. First up, Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa, which I think this will be the match of the weekend. This match has got such a very unique and interesting build to it. It has been building for a year. It has got everything. It's got the story behind it to make this a classic. I really believe this will be the match of the weekend. And if any match is going to get 5 stars this weekend, it might just be this one. Both guys are tremendous talents. It's an unsanctioned match. If Gargano wins, he'll be reinstated to NXT. If Ciampa wins, Gargano will be banned from NXT forever. So, I think Ciampa will win. I think Gargano might move up. And what he will do, I don't know, 205 Live maybe. Maybe he'll get a main roster spot naturally. I don't know. He's a good enough talent to deserve that. But, yeah, you'll have to see. We've got a North American Championship ladder match. 6-man matchup. New title for NXT. I don't mind it. The title design, I initially didn't like it, but then they showed better quality pictures of it, and it actually looks really nice. I actually do like the title design in the end. It feels like the old school IC title type of look. I like it. Adam Cole versus EC3 versus Killian Dane versus Lars Sullivan versus Ricochet versus the Velveteen Dream. This would be great because I'm really looking forward to seeing EC3 back in the WWE. I'm really excited for that. So I'm hoping he wins it, and I'm going to say he will, and that will put over the North American title really well. Ricochet's in the match, and he is truly a tremendous talent. I first saw Ricochet as, what is it, Prince Puma, is it? On Lucha Underground. I thought, man, this guy is really good. I mean, he should be in the WWE. I didn't know it was Ricochet at the time. Quickly learned that it was and went, okay, yeah, I've heard a bit about this guy. So this guy is good. He is really talented, and he has more of those acrobatic type matches where he just, you know it's all choreographed and kind of staged. It's not really a fight. It's just kind of, all right, let's do cool moves type matches. Yeah, he does that, but he won't do a lot of that in the WWE. It'll be more, he'll be more doing the WWE style, and I think he'll do better because of it. So I really think he'll do very, very well, and he might be, for example, the Shelton Benjamin of this match. He does the crazy moves, he does all the high-flying, acrobatic stuff. It makes this match awesome. Velveteen Dream, he's a character that's doing really well. Sullivan and Dane, yeah, whatever. And Adam Cole is Adam Cole, so he'll get some crowd support. It's going to be a good match. I really do believe that, and I'm hoping EC3 wins. Triple threat tag team match for the NXT tag titles and the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Trophy. Undisputed Era, which I think Bobby Fish is injured, so Adam Cole's doing double duty versus the Authors of Pain, and Strong and Pete Dunne. Who's winning this? I have not followed the tag team situation at all, but I'll say Undisputed Era retain. But then again, they do have an injury, so it could force a change. But I really don't see the Authors of Pain winning it back, and Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne doesn't seem like a great team to me. So I think Undisputed Era will win. Ember Moon versus Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's title. From what I know, I think Shayna's been built up quite heavily, and they're trying to put her over pretty strong, so I'm going to say she'll win that one. And Andrade versus Aleister Black for the NXT title. I think Aleister Black should win. He, in my opinion, has the most potential out of all the NXT talent, maybe out of the EC3, to be a top-tier main event star on the main roster. He is really, really freaking good. Love to see him win the title. Andrade's done well. He's had a great comeback from being really nothing to all of a sudden this big thing in NXT. Well done to him, but I think Aleister Black winning should happen. Only 5 matches announced. I could see them adding in another one, but I don't know if they really need to, because a lot of their roster is kind of locked up there. I guess you could say, well, where's the other women's matches? Maybe another women's match. Maybe they're saving a lot of those women for the WrestleMania Battle Royal, so that might be the reason for that. But strong card. It's not many matches, but they're all very good. Certainly Gargano and Ciampa will be very good. The ladder match will be great. And Almas and Black, I think, will surprise many of us and be really, really, really good. So I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I don't watch the week-to-week stuff. I always check out the takeovers, and I always have a good time watching them. I know I should watch more of the week-to-week stuff, but I don't know, watching 5 hours of Raw and SmackDown just kind of take it out of you. Last couple pieces of things. We talked about Lesnar potentially returning to UFC. Is that going to happen soon? Maybe it happens in August. CM Punk's also got his match confirmed for UFC. He'll be fighting a guy called Michael Jackson. Not the Michael Jackson we know, but a guy similar name. Wouldn't that suck? Like, having a name like that. All right, Michael Jackson. Whenever someone thinks of you or hears your name, they're going to think of the actual, Michael Jackson, the singer. So, I've never thought about that. Like, look at the actor, Michael Jordan, Michael B. Jordan. He has to put the B in there to differentiate the two. Like, people think, oh, Michael Jordan, the basketball player, but he's an actor. So, famous people have, two famous people with the same name, but one's more famous than the other. It'd have to suck for the second guy who's not as famous. It would have to definitely suck. But yeah, Punk's fighting this Michael Jackson fighter in UFC in Chicago. This is it. This will probably be, if he wins, great. If he loses, this is it. This will be his final fight. He'll be done. He will not fight again in UFC, in my opinion. This is it. He had his first fight a couple of years ago, I think it was now. He lost. We'll see how he goes in this one. If he performs well, he wins. He might even call it a day if he wins. He might say, well, I won. Okay, let's leave it there. I'm happy with that. One and one, that might do me. But if he loses, I definitely believe that is it. Will he go back to wrestling? I really wish he would. I really do. I would love to see CM Punk back. What is he now, 39, 40? I mean, one more run of the WWE, he could do it. He really could. He's probably in better shape than he ever has been. So he really could. It's just the conditions he is, the terms he's on with WWE is so bad. I just don't think it's going to happen. I would love to see him in that All In show. The All In, the Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, that thing that they're doing, the Bullet Club thing. I think that'd be great for wrestling if he could show up on that. I don't think he will, but if he was ever going to return, I think it'd be great for wrestling to see him on that show. Alright, so let's move on. We've got a couple gaming things, but I won't spend too much time on it. Spyro Trilogy announced. I am super excited for that. Spyro was one of the games I played when I was young. One of the first games I really remember playing on the PlayStation. I think I had all three. If not, I certainly played Year of the Dragon. Loved it. I'm pretty sure I played the first one. I loved Spyro. It was one of my favorite games as a kid. So, Trilogy, it'll be fantastic. Graphically, it looks really good in the trailers, so they've done a great job upscaling it. Not just upscaling, like really transforming it. It looks terrific. They did a great job with the Crash trilogy, and I probably need to go back. I haven't finished the second and third Crash. I did the first Crash. I need to go do the second and third one. With Spyro, super looking forward to it. Unfortunately, it's in September. It's a little far away, but that's okay. I can't wait. Other game I got this week was Far Cry 5. Probably played 4 or 5 hours of it. I've enjoyed it so far. I think it's shaping up to be one of the better Far Cries. Graphically, it looks really nice. I like the gameplay. Only thing I don't like is the gunplay as much. It's a little off. It's a little off. It's not too bad, but it's a little off. But I like the setting. I like the environment. I like the map. I like the exploring. So I'm really enjoying it. A friend of mine got me UFC 3 yesterday. I played a little bit of it today. So I'm going to play a bit more of that as well, explore some of that and play a bit of UFC. So I might even stream that, I don't know. But I'll try that out and see how that goes. Any other games? No, I don't think I've got any other games this week. So normally I get a few, but yeah. So and of course Mad Max is available for all PlayStation Plus subscribers. So if you have PlayStation Plus, which I'm sure most of you do, get Mad Max. It's pretty fun. It's a good single-player game. You might enjoy it. And, explore some other games. I know we're all playing Fortnite right now. We're all loving Fortnite. Trust me, I am. I'm loving Fortnite. But sometimes it's good to just try a few other games. Just explore them. Give them a try. If you don't like it, it's free. You don't have to really worry about it. So give it a go. Trackmania as well is not too bad either. So if you're looking for something that's pretty casual, that's not too bad. All right, so let's get into our questions this week as we all wrap up the show.
All right, so let's get into our questions. So this one's from Alex Small. In your view, how do you define a casual fan and hardcore fan, and what are the main differences? A casual fan is someone who might just watch Raw every now and then. So a casual fan, okay, wrestling's on, let's check it out. So they might check it out a couple times a month. Or they might only just watch Raw, they don't watch all the product, they don't watch, they might just watch the pay-per-views. Like, for example, my friend, I've given him, has my W Network details, so he watches the W Network, and he will go on and he will check out the pay-per-views every month. He doesn't watch Raw, doesn't watch SmackDown. He keeps an eye on it a little bit on Twitter and social media. Like, he, reads up, if someone posts something on Facebook, he might see it. So he'll mainly just watch the pay-per-views. That to me is a casual fan. Someone who, only watches every now and then. A hardcore fan is like me. I'll watch Raw, SmackDown every single week. I'll go out of my way to find out the news about it, keep an eye on it, look out for spoilers. I might watch more than just WWE. Someone like that. Next question coming in from Brian Ernie. Johnny Gargano, if he makes his debut on the main roster, what brand should he be on, SmackDown or Raw? Well, I was thinking about it. I think Johnny Gargano is definitely that underdog character, but we've got Daniel Bryan now on SmackDown, so maybe Raw might be the best case for him. We don't really have that character as much on Raw, so that small, undersized guy who just kind of fights through adversity, we don't really have that on Raw as much, so I think he might work a little bit better there, and if they have to have him work the cruiserweights, that also would be a benefit for him there. Cameron Fox, do you want to see Hulk Hogan return to the WWE again? Yeah, absolutely I do. What he did was bad. It really was. It was over the top. It was not great. I don't condone it, but time heals wounds. I look at Hulk Hogan now, and I don't even think about the racist things. I think about Hulk Hogan the wrestler, because I've been watching old wrestling, and I've been watched 2005 when he came out and he blew the roof off the building when he came out and saved Eugene at WrestleMania. He blew the roof off when he was Shawn Michaels' tag team partner to take on Hassan and Daivari. He's one of the best. As simple as that. One of the biggest names in wrestling in history, and he fucked up. He's admitted he's sorry. He's apologized. He's done a lot of time now where he's trying to make things right. And it might need a little bit more time, but I definitely think he deserves a chance to come back. We all make mistakes. We really do. We bring back people who have done, drugs and abuse that, alcoholics, embarrass them. Like, look at Scott Hall, for example. He gets, welcomed back with open arms, and look at all the shit he's done. Hulk Hogan, yes, he was racist, and that's a terrible thing. I'm not condoning it whatsoever, but the WWE have brought back a hell of a lot worse. Ultimate Warrior, all you have to do is look at the things he says about, the gay people and things like that. I don't know the full details of it, so I'm not going to go into it, but he has said some terrible shit. They brought him back. So, Hulk Hogan hasn't done the worst thing in the world, so he's done bad, but a lot of other people have done just as bad, if not worse, and they've been brought back. So, I think I'd bring him back. Maybe not. I think maybe next year. Bring him back for 35. This question's from Happy Harry Hardon. Could you see WrestleMania taking place over the course of more than one day in a few years, with the length of the pay-per-view becoming very long? It would be similar to what New Japan does. Well, WrestleMania over the course of a couple of days, I just don't think it can work. I mean, people aren't going to watch the second version as much as they would the first one. Yes, depending on the card, they could have stronger matches in the second part of it, but I think they just like having the one group of people in the one stadium at the one time. I think it works better. I think, if anything, you've just got to cut matches. I look at this card, they could have probably cut Cesaro and Sheamus' match. They could have probably cut the US title match. If you cut that there, that's half an hour they could have saved. You probably could have cut the women's or the Andre the Giant Battle Royal and just put one of the women's matches, Bliss versus Nia Jax on the pre-show. So there's 3 matches right there, cut, boom, and that's 1 hour of the show. So you take that back from 5 on the main show back to 4, 2 hours on the pre-show. Maybe you cut some of the pre-show. Don't have so many video packages on the pre-show. Don't have so many, analysis. Cut that back to 90 minutes and boom, there you go. It's still 6.5 hours, but 4 hour main show, hour and a half pre-show. Not everyone watches the pre-show, only hardcore fans watch the pre-show. It's not a necessity. 4 hour main show, 4 hours is okay. In my opinion, 4 hours is fine. 4 hours is probably the maximum that I would probably do. So, all you got to do is just say, alright, some of these matches just don't make WrestleMania. Just cut a few. Not every match should make it, and sometimes it's a good thing if not every match is on there. But they've got so many titles that they all kind of need to be defended, so they kind of book themselves in the corner a little bit there. So I would definitely not do multiple days, and not multiple venues either. Oh my god, that was a bad idea. Look at Raw 25, how that turned out. Thomas Speller, interesting one. If you could only watch cricket or wrestling for the rest of your life, which one would you pick? Wow, I'd probably pick cricket. Cricket's my childhood love, my favourite sport. I can sit down and watch it all day, every day. I love it. Absolutely love it. So, I really like wrestling though, but I went 4 years without watching wrestling from 2008 to the start of 2012, and didn't really care. I could not go 4 years without watching a game of cricket. I would go mad. So, or playing it. That was tough. So, yeah, I'd pick cricket. Aaron Jordan, now this year's Hall of Fame class, who are you most happiest to see go in? There's no one really in particular that I'm really like, oh my god, I'm so happy that they're in type of deal. Like, last year was Kurt Angle. I was so happy to see him back. I think Goldberg really deserves to go in, absolutely. I don't know about Jeff Jarrett. I think he's more of a paper entrant. He's got the credentials, but did he really deserve that? Like, I don't know. I've talked about that on this podcast. Dudleys, they deserve to go in, absolutely. And, whatever. Like, the others are, sure. But there's no one particular person I'm so excited to see. If Goldberg didn't come back last year and he was here now, it'd be different. I'd be excited to see Goldberg. But we saw him. He was really good last year. He performed a lot better than I expected. But we've seen him, and we kind of know his story. We kind of know what he was going to say. So it's nothing really compelling. I'm really happy for Mark Henry. He's a guy that I really believe deserves it and has been certainly a journeyman. I just wouldn't have inducted him straight away. I think of Christian, for example. They kind of forced him to retire. They didn't induct him straight away. So why not him? Instead of, why did they do that to Henry? So I guess Henry's employed and they figured, well, all right, fine, let's do it. But yeah, so there's no one in particular. And finally, from Ryan Austin Feemstar, what is your favorite WrestleMania match of all time? It is a tough question because there's so many great matches. You think of Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, the classics they had. Rock and Austin, Stone Cold, Bret Hart. But for me, my favorite is not because of the match itself. It's just the crowd. It's just the moment. It's just the atmosphere. It's surreal. It gives me it puts a smile on my face every time I see it. It's incredible. And that's The Rock versus Hulk Hogan. WrestleMania 18. If you've never seen it, why not? If you're a wrestling fan, you need to watch this match. It is incredible. It's one of those matches I wish I was there to see in person. It's just one of those times that I wish I could have been there just to feel, for lack of a better word, the electricity in the arena. It would have been awesome. It really would have been. I've watched that match probably a dozen times. It doesn't get old. It's truly awesome. So that would be my favorite because I like that. I like the big crowd, the big fight feel. I just love that. And that's one of my favorite things about wrestling is just the audience reactions to the wrestlers in the ring and just lifting it and making it feel like a special moment. And seeing two icons on the other side of looking at each other, about to lock up, that's awesome. That's what I like. It's one of the things I really love about wrestling. We don't get it enough nowadays, which is sad, but yeah, that's my favorite WrestleMania match, I think. If I really sat down and thought about it, I could probably think, okay, yeah, this is my favorite in-ring match and things like that, but the first match that popped in my head was this one, so I'm going to go with it. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this week's edition of the WrestleMania edition of this week's podcast. If you enjoyed it, leave a like on it, subscribe. Unfortunately, our wrap-up, our recap show will be the final episode of the podcast. The job situation, it's interesting, to say the least, so maybe I'll talk more about that next week, but this will be the second last edition, and next week will be the final edition of the podcast. We've got a giveaway. We're giving away a copy of Total Extreme Wrestling, and you can check that out on the website, BrendenPlayz.com, to enter there. And also, we're giving away a copy of Supercard codes, and you can win that by being a part of the Discord chat during WrestleMania. So check those out and make sure you are there for WrestleMania on the Discord. Thank you for listening in. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy WrestleMania, and I'll see you all next week for the big recap show.